Hi, everybody. Guess what? We're back. We've been away for a little while. Well, that's okay. It's 2022, and we have something new for you today. We're here with our Share Your Story, and this is big energy today. Big energy, because we have a energetic agent here in this office who's in our top 20. She's one of our top 20 agents. None other than Cindy Dudley. Hey, Cindy.
Thank you, Teresa. Oh, God. Energizer Bunny. That's what some people call me.
That's you. Yeah.
My tagline used to be called the Roadrunner Realtor.
Really?
How about that?
I like it.
Yep. That was back from Sam Moore days.
Really?
I was back.
I love it. Well, she's here with us today. So we're going to hear Cindy's story. She has a story.
Don't we all?
Yes, we do. But this is a good one. And you'll be surprised. If you don't know, you're going to hear it right here. All right, Cindy, we're going to start like I always start every single interview. How did you get started in real estate?
So, back in 1997, I was in sales. I was in retail sales, and I wanted to quit my job. They didn't make me district manager of Sharon Luggage and Gifts. And I drove from Mebane to Raleigh to Crabtree Valley to open that store. It was profitable in a year, and they didn't make me district manager, and I said, fine. I gave them 6-week notice. They never replaced me. I said, I'm out of here. So I went home and stayed with my boys that were 5 and 7.
Aww.
And that summer I was staying with them, and they said, Mom, you need to go back to work.
They kicked you out, Cindy.
They said, this is too much. You need to go do something. So Mill Creek, that was back when Mill Creek first started. So we were the 5th homeowner to move into Mill Creek in Mebane in 1995.
How about that?
Before the golf course was started, before there was a pool. And my boys grew up there. And I was their broker relations specialist. So basically
I was going to say, what is that?
So I worked for Mill Creek. I was not licensed. And I would go to all of the real estate offices, and I would talk about Mill Creek and what we had, and I could say prices and all of that, right? So I knew all the agents from that. I'd go to Durham, Raleigh, Chapel Hill, Greensboro, Burlington. I mean, there's only like 2 offices in Mebane at that time. I think it was Remax and Hawkenstrip. So I would do that, and then I worked for Fonville Morrissey in the builder department, so I started on site, and they paid me to get my real estate license at Fonville Morrissey, and I passed my test. Vicky, what was her last name? Really long name. Was my teacher. She was great. I took me twice to pass the test, meaning I took the class and then I didn't pass the first one, but the second test. And this is back in the day that it was, pencil when you had to take your test, and you had to go to Durham Tech, and you had to be there, and you could only have a pencil with you, and you had to sign out when you were in the bathroom. And I took my test. And I failed. And it took 6 weeks to get the answer. And you couldn't sign up for the next test. It took me 9, now y'all probably don't know this, 9 months to pass my test.
But you passed it is the point.
Yeah, and I had to, my 8-year-old had to say, Mom, it's multiple guess. 2 are wrong, 2 are definitely wrong, 2 are close. Pick the best one. So if most people don't know this, but I am dyslexic and I'm ADHD. I figured that, but I didn't find out I was ADHD until I was 50.
I just think you're high energy.
But I'm dyslexic. I found out when I was 14. So I have a really hard time with tests. Like tests and writing is very difficult. I'm a ferocious reader, but I read okay. So, but tests are very hard. So it took me 9 months to pass my test. And once I got it, I was so proud of that. And that I could not wait. So I worked on-site at Mill Creek. So I worked for the builders there.
So everybody knew you already.
Well, I lived there. My kids went to school in Mebane, and I worked there. But it was only Mill Creek. And so in 1999, 2 ladies, Patty Teague and Cindy Isley came through and said, what are you doing here? Like, you have too much energy. Like, you need to come to, and they both worked for Sam W. Moore, which was a boutique firm back in the day. This is 99, and Sam only usually took the top agents, but I went and interviewed, and Sam hired me in December of 99. But that's because Mill Creek was getting ready to do a turnover, and basically Fonville Morrissey was out. The developer was going through some things. So I came to work for Sam.
Okay.
Then I started, and then I learned from the big dogs like it was Jane Irwin, Cindy Isley, Frances Fields, Nancy Moore, who's no longer with us.
Okay.
And Beverly worked for her mom.
Okay.
And then Beverly Foster.
Okay.
And then Patty worked there.
Yeah.
She was right across the hall from me. And then Cindy and Jolinda worked beside me, so they were kind of my mentors. And Joanne Baggerly.
Okay.
And Grover Moore, and who else? Jane Irwin. So we had all the top hitters.
There.
So I had a big old 12 by 12 office and scared, and that was before, guys, remember, this was the books. There was no internet.
Yeah.
We had books to look at.
Right. It was another century, actually.
Well,
it was 99. I was going to say.
I got my license in 98. So it's been 24 years.
Yes. I was going to say.
A lot of changes.
Yes. A lot.
Okay, so that was the backstory. Y'all probably don't even know that.
I love it. I love it. So I got to ask this. Okay. You went from on-site at Mill Point.
At Mill Creek.
Mill Creek, I'm sorry. Mill Creek. Wrong subdivision, but I got it right. Mill Creek. And then you went with Sam Moore. Okay, tell me about your first year. How was your first year, Cindy, in real estate?
Well, I did everything I could possibly do.
Okay.
I did desk duty. I did any open house.
Yep.
If somebody didn't want a $50,000 buyer, I took them. I'll never forget that first buyer I had.
Okay.
I met her at this house, and I thought we were going to go under contract. We went under contract, and it was asbestos siding. And she walked away, and then she ghosted me. So it's all these little things that come back.
Somebody actually ghosted Cindy?
Well, this is back in the day, by the way. This is before, the lock boxes weren't on the houses. You had to go to the real estate office.
That's right.
Pick up the key, and then sign out and sign back in.
Right.
Back in the day, when you had to go to the mapping office and get your plat map and go to Register of Deeds and have a little card to make your copies from the deed book. So you really so you guys, we have it so easy now.
Yes.
I'm just saying.
Yes.
I just had to throw that in
Yes.
there.
Okay, well, since you threw it in there, let's go here for just a second.
Because I always go all of it.
Yes. Well, that's okay. Since you went there, okay, let's talk about what's the value of a real estate agent. Since it was so much work back then, like you said, pick up the key, so you could really see the value of a real estate agent then. But now the lockbox is there. Some even have the central locks. You don't even need a key. You don't have to have a code. Your Bluetooth, your phone. So what's the value, Cindy, of an agent today? What does an agent bring to the table? They can even look on the internet, find their own house.
Right. So they could, but we all know that what a picture looks like, they can be doctored, they can be edited, virtual staging. But when you physically go in a house, it looks completely different. Size of rooms. Did they use a wide angle?
Right.
You can't see the rotted wood.
Right.
Did you look in the crawl space?
Right.
Is there a vapor barrier?
Right.
Does it smell moldy? I mean, there are certain things that we have knowledge of and that we're held to a higher standard. And so our jobs are on the line. When a professional opens the door, that's our integrity, our everything says that we're going to work for you in that aspect. So we have to know everything, because if we don't know everything, they can come after us.
And they do, don't they?
They do.
Do.
For us, we're held to a higher standard. We need to know more, and I wish that some agents would slow down a little bit and make sure that they, there are some people that list houses now and there's no septic records. Boy, could you get in trouble.
Tell me about it.
Okay, Vic, I feel you. There's a couple that you have to actually get the records yourself. No, you should have that. Make sure you are covered.
Yes.
Come on, guys, this is a real job. You could lose your license if you don't do certain things.
That's exactly
okay, that's all on the soapbox.
I told you it's big energy here
Big
today.
energy. Plus, I'm a rule follower. There are some rules that you should follow.
Yes.
And if this is my only income. If I don't follow the rules, this is my license. If my license gets taken away, my whole, what you would say, my identity is gone.
Right, exactly. And we don't want that. So thank you, Cindy, for being a rule follower.
Yes, I am. And I am on the big hotline right now. Except you can't call me since
That's
I'm here.
No, she can't answer right now. But thank you very much for following the rules.
Yes.
All right, so let's talk about, you had a career, almost a little career change where you go from, were you getting paid there? And were you getting like a regular paycheck, and
Where?
now you're
At Mill Creek?
Yeah.
So,
Now you're.
well, I've been in
contractor.
sales since I was
Okay.
16. I actually
Okay.
started working at 14. I
Okay.
taught tennis with a coach from Wake Forest University, and I've always been in sales.
Yeah.
So I call real estate my store.
Okay.
So every listing, you should know the square footage, you should know the
Right.
price. Is it pending? Is it
Okay.
active? Whatever.
Okay.
This is my store. So
Right.
that's how when I teach things, that's what I think about.
Right, right.
You should know what you're selling.
Okay.
Okay. So I got a
Yeah.
paycheck. I
Yeah.
had a salary because I was only salary. I didn't work on. We got a little bit of commission, but basically it was just salary.
Sure.
And I
Okay.
wasn't making. I don't know, 30. I think I made less than $30,000 that
Okay.
year.
Okay.
And I was used to making a lot more.
Right,
So and so I decided
Yeah.
to do the commission thing.
Okay.
And I did pretty well the first
Yeah.
year.
Okay, well, good.
I mean, back then when you did 2 or 3 million, that was a lot. Your average was
Right.
much lower.
I was going to say, yeah, it was.
I mean,
And homes were some were under $100,000.
a lot of them.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
you didn't see a lot in the over 5. I
Right.
mean, it was a lot different time. Plus,
Right.
the interest rates were over 9%.
Exactly.
So I mean, and it was a buyer's market
Right.
at any one time. Now, not that then, but in the years following that,
Yeah.
04, 05, we did sell a lot. But then that's when
I was going to say
everything came down. So I've been through major, and then 2008 when the builders went out of business.
Right.
I
And
sustained.
there's been no market like the market we're in now.
No, there's been no market.
this
Is it gonna,
is-
yeah,
yeah.
that's true.
This is a different kind of market. I got to take you here real quick, Cindy. All right. I know there's another part to this story. You got your license. You did well. Some things happened there in the middle, and now you're back full force. Tell us about that little break there in the career.
There was a little break, but
little
let's go
break.
back a little further. So,
Okay.
06, I got divorced. Well, divorced in 07
Okay.
with a 16 and 19-year-old.
Okay.
I struggled.
Okay.
I kept the house.
Yeah.
This is, I guess, for anyone that doesn't know, my husband cheated on me, and I kept everything,
Okay.
but we had to split
Okay.
everything up, and so
Okay.
I was in major debt,
Yeah.
and I really had to learn how to
Okay.
budget and
Okay.
everything else, and that was in 07.
Okay.
And then I took Bold in 09, and it changed my life.
Okay.
And I was in the top 3 in MLS
Yeah.
in 09. And then
Okay.
10, I did another great year. And
Yeah.
I thought, you know what? I want to change and get into leadership.
Okay.
I really want to give back.
All right.
I feel like now's the time. So in 2011, I got a job as team leader
Okay.
of the Greensboro North,
Okay.
what they call Greensboro 1 right now. And I
Okay.
went to work for them.
Okay.
And I left.
Okay.
I couldn't sell my house in Mill Creek, so I leased it for 2 years,
Okay.
and I moved to Greensboro for
Okay.
3.5 years.
Okay.
Downtown Greensboro.
Oh boy.
And nobody could come live with me. Everything was in storage. And I went to be a team leader.
Yeah.
And
How'd they go?
it was hard.
Okay.
It was extremely hard. I
Okay.
was probably not in the right frame of mind
Okay.
to do it. And then I had somebody that micromanaged me, and I got. It was really hard, and I had
Okay.
investors that would look over my shoulder and say, "Why is she always on Facebook?" And now we're always on Facebook, right?
Right.
So that was at the
Exactly.
beginning when Facebook just started,
Right, right.
And they didn't understand it, and basically they didn't like me.
Okay.
They
okay.
said she's not recruiting, but in retrospect,
Yeah.
after that year,
Yeah.
we worked, tried to do everything, and I was always learning based. I did everything that was asked of me. I couldn't recruit because there
Okay.
was somebody in our office that nobody would come.
Okay.
Well, the minute I got fired, the week later, he left because he was mad that I got fired. So I said, "Oh, in a roundabout way, you got rid of the person that I couldn't recruit. Now you can recruit."
Okay.
But the other big lifestyle change,
Okay.
which a lot of you probably know, Rucker got into treatment
Okay.
because I was a Guilford County resident,
Okay.
and it was free.
And Rucker's your
my
son.
right? And so Rucker has been sober for 10 years.
Okay.
So I always say I went.
Congratulations,
So
Rucker.
I always say I went to Greensboro to change my life,
Okay.
to change the family's life.
Yeah.
And it was a very hard year,
Yeah.
but there was a reason behind it. And
Of course.
Rucker did it all on his own. Nobody paid for it. It was free.
Wow.
He went to a 30-day rehab that was right there in Greensboro. We could see him every weekend.
That's amazing.
And his brother lived there. I lived there. We all lived within 2 miles of each other. It was really as I look back, it was a God moment.
Right.
And
I love that.
he's been sober 10 years.
Yay.
So that's a part of the story.
Yeah. And he's now in real estate, by the way.
He was my buyer's agent, and he is now with the J. White Group in Charlotte. So in Pineville. So send your referrals. Not to plug that in.
Yeah, stick that right on in there.
So I've always, but when I came back that 2012, it was hard.
Did you come back different?
I was very well. First of all, I've never been fired from a job, and I was 51 years old.
Okay.
51, yeah.
Okay.
So they made me get tested, and that's when I found out I was ADHD and I had to take medicine.
Okay.
And I'll never forget it. One of my good friends, Kelly Work, said, "What's wrong with you? You act like you're zoning out." I said, "I'm on Adderall, XR."
Okay.
She goes, "You act so straight. You're so quiet."
Yeah.
I said, "Well, that's what it does."
Yeah.
She goes, "I don't like it."
Yeah. She wanted Cindy back.
I want Cindy back.
Yes,
so I haven't taken it in 9-10 years. I mean, I haven't taken it since 2012.
Right.
Because it did change my personality.
Yeah.
But remember, I also interrupt people. I don't mean to. It's just part of, that.
Well, that's Cindy.
I know.
And we want to be true.
So I'm really getting deep here. So let's liven it up here. So 2012, that was 2011. 2012, I only had 13 sales, which I was doing 13. Like I was
gonna say that
probably
was
probably 36 to 45 every year.
Okay.
But I had done a pretty good year in 2009, and I felt that it was time to really do that leadership role. I felt that was part of who I was, and then it ended up that it was hard, and it was harder than I thought, and I couldn't recruit, and I went back to sales and started getting back up.
Yeah.
And I had no signs. I gave everything away. I cannot tell you when I left nothing. I had nothing.
Yeah.
So when I came back, I had to build it all up.
Yeah.
So kind of like, I guess you could start over again.
Right. And she's in the top 20.
And my database was gone.
Yeah.
Like I didn't have any.
So almost starting over, basically.
Yeah, but I already had people that knew me and loved me. So that was helpful.
So you had something to pull from.
Right.
Yeah.
So, and I had great friends here, and so even though I lived in Greensboro, I came back here because I knew the area.
Nice. Okay, before we wrap up, you gotta tell us. Okay, lots of energy here. I gotta hear what she does for fun. What do you do for fun? I know you like to get massages and things like that with friends. Yes.
So, well, I used to run a lot. I don't do that as much. I do work out. I have a trainer, and I work out and do a lot of weightlifting. I have some good guns now, and be careful.
Wait for the summer.
Oh, I don't know about that. So, I read. I love to read. I did play tennis, and I just started pickleball, so we really want to get into pickleball.
Okay.
My boyfriend and I, Greg.
Yeah.
And so that's fun. I love to travel. We do at least 2 or 3 trips a year.
Love it.
My family's close. My sister, my younger sister, who's 18 months younger, she's moving here in June, and she's building a house in Alamance Country Club area.
Who's her realtor?
Well,
Okay, we won't go there. Keep telling us what you do for fun.
My parents live close. They turn 85 this year, and it's real. My sister hasn't lived here. She's been in California for 30 years.
Okay.
So this is the first time all of us are going to be together. Okay. My brother lives in Clemens. I did help him buy a house.
Okay.
So it's going to be a fun. It's going to be fun next 5 years. When you're in your 60s. And I heard if you ever listen to a podcast, I would recommend Empire Building.
Okay.
And that is Sanchelle Van Poole, Sarah Reynolds,
Okay.
Wendy Papazan, and Via Williams. Is it Via Williams? Yeah.
Okay.
So listen to that podcast.
Okay.
Did you know that women in their 60s are that's when they make their most money?
Well,
you know that?
I didn't know that, but I know they say most people become millionaires in their 60s.
But most women kind of go into their own when they're in their 60s because they've had to wait for their kids to grow up. Sometimes. So I feel like I'm in that next decade.
Yes.
And
love it, Cindy.
Do you not love how I matched the chair? I didn't plan that, by the way. This is my outfit. But I feel that I don't know. It's just. It's a great time to be in real estate. It is hard. It is not easy right now, even though,
That's the whole law. Success is simple, not easy.
That's right.
Yeah.
And it's tough.
Right.
I mean, we are challenged with getting listings right now. So we have to do a lot.
Right.
It's a lot harder.
Right. Right. Okay.
Is that the way?
Yes. And since it's harder and we have things to do, I want you to look into the camera and just talk to that new agent. Give them a couple of nuggets. They're new in real estate, never done this before. What would you say to that new agent? You can look right there in that camera.
So I would, everywhere you go, wear your name tag. I don't. If you notice, I don't have a name tag. I know I would wear that everywhere. I would always have makeup on. If I went to the grocery store, people would stop me and say, "Hey." I'm kind of like the opposite now. Like, I don't want anybody to look at me. You know, I know that sounds funny, but, you know, I want anonymity, I guess. But wear your name tag. Tell everybody you know that you're in real estate. Be careful what you post on Facebook. Do a little bit of both. You can door knock. You can, oh, by the way, get on the Pivot Shift group. It's 8 o'clock in the morning. There was a young lady on there this morning, and she had just started her business, and she has been on that call. Script practice. There's 5 things we do: lead gen, lead follow-up, script practice and role play, appointments, and negotiate contracts, right? So I'm on script practice at 8:30. There's 3 of us, me, Katie Brown, and Mike McCann. At 8:30, it's free. There's a link on our My Market Center page. When it comes in the email, click on that. You're welcome. If you don't feel comfortable, you don't have to talk. But we script for 30 minutes, and then we get to lead gen. You've got to have your time blocks. Time block, don't get into your email. I mean, we all are guilty of it. But who do you call? Call everybody on your list. If they're in your phone, and tell them what you do, or just do a care call. There's lots of great, and that Pivot Shift group is the best thing. There are so many nuggets in there. I would say get on that. And that is a Keller Williams, and they do KW Connect. In there, they have lots of live things that they do. It is pretty amazing.
I love it.
No, I've been with Keller Williams. I didn't tell that. I was the very first person signed with this market center in 2004. You probably didn't know that.
She was the first.
I was the first that signed.
I love it.
And so I'm one of the originals. There's a couple of us left.
I love it. Well, Sandy.
Yes.
Thank you for your transparency and your candor and being so open. I appreciate that.
It's all about.
She shared her story, and we appreciate that. But real quick before we go, you got to put your foot up. Let these people see these shoes. Don't you love it? I love this. Okay, big energy. Thank you so much, Cindy. And thank you so much for tuning in on this edition of Share Your Story. We'll see you again.